as I've said, now we move on. So the other table of contents which will be covering up. So starting with the introduction, with the job level structure, current trends, and so on and so forth. So what actually happens in the industry. So moving on, as we are going to cover this. So firstly, let's start with the introduction. So now with the introduction, what exactly is this all about? Because we have no, maybe some of you have some idea from the name of it. So maybe you have heard the term like class A, what exactly it is. Now again, SUV, we know it's a segment of a car, so maybe you can match some dots and create up to know some conclusion. But what exactly is this all about? So now, again, starting with this, we want you to understand what, how, what, or what is required in the automotive industry to get started, and then again, know what are the major topics which are there, which you have to go through. So basically, the phases which are there, because from starting point, nothing, is directly ready for the production. So firstly, it's an idea, then it moves on to later stages, and then at the end of the cycle, mostly 3 to 5 years as per industry standard, something comes out in the real market. So we'll cover all of that. So now moving on, we have a dedicated field which is automotive design. So now again, as I've said, it's a dedicated field. So it takes care of all of things. We have engineering department, we have safety department, creative talents, meaning the designers, the entire hierarchy, which is followed again in the design department. Those people work on that side. Now again, no, design doesn't only mean to create just the automotive. You can be a product designer. You can be, because once you have learned or got the overview of the design field, it doesn't matter what you are designing. You just have to have the basics, and then at the end, a knowledge of what you are designing. You can design from a single needle to an entire airplane, and yeah, that would be it. So the design field in particular doesn't stick to only one design, but yes, when you go into it, like into the term automotive design, it actually sticks to the automotive. So automotive can be anything, be it a motorcycle, be it a four wheeler, an auto rickshaw, and things like that. So again, once you have learned it, you can design anything. So yeah. Now again, coming to the field, this field is actually very dynamic and ever changing, because with the progressive work environment as currently, the market trends is changing. Nobody is going for the IC engine, the internal combustion engines, because that's an evolution, not in the design sense, but that particular evolution is forcing the design too. Why? Because the combustion engines, like for an example, the combustion engines requires a radiator, right, to cool down the engine. But for the electric vehicles, we don't need that kind of, let's say, the weight load, those things to cool down anything. So now again, we don't need, in design aspect, we don't need a grill, an actual grill from which the air used to pass in. So that way you have that particular area, which is again your canvas, and you can design anything. A new grill, maybe a new pattern, new lighting, something like that, which which gives you a feel of the future. So that's how the industry is changing. Once it's evolving, not only in the technical, the technological terms, it also helps or leads you to design advancements. So again, now moving on. Firstly, I would like to explain you the job level structure. Why? Because the question will be, what are the options? Where will be starting from, and what is the high level? What is the low level? So now again, starting with, we enter into the industry. These are the main, or let's say the major terms which will be there, because to moving on to entry level, because again, this is the functional level. These are the people who actually work. Rest all do the management part. So you have again entry level, senior level, and top management level. So basically everybody understands this. Like top management actually takes care of all the meeting with the clients, with the customers, and inside the the structure, the design level structure itself. So they take care of those. Then again, now coming to entry level, we have few terms over here. First one is design researcher. The second ones are the design team, I would say, like who actually do design. So we have interior designers, we have exterior designers, and we have color and trim designers. Now moving on to modeler. So again, modeling has two different approach. One is physical and one is digital. And then at the end, we have design visualizers. So now to give you an overview of what these people do or what their job title actually means. So for design researchers, now in a scenario, let's say in India, if a particular OEM is there and its size is quite big, so that company already has their design studio set up. So what happens is, like a design researcher's job is to do a research, be it market research or desk research. So depending on those research, they collect the data. Or let's say today I'm a design researcher and I want to create something new. My company has asked me to create a four-wheeler in the market, which will be up to date, compete with the other competitors, what are their offerings and things like that. So it's my job to do the research and create a particular data in which I can present the same data to the designers. So that's the job of a design researcher. But depending on the size of the organization, maybe the job title will be present. The researcher's job title will be present. If not, if this size is too small, or you're working for some studio or let's say a service provider, maybe you are a designer and you are doing or taking care of the research part as well. So that's for design researcher. Then we have designers. So as the name is self-explanatory, so we have exteriors who take care of the exteriors. We have interiors who take care of the interior, obviously. Then we have color and trim. So color and trim works actually starts from the beginning because they do want to create some proposals for the colors, the exterior, what type of accessories if we are putting it on. Will it be chrome? Will it be black finish and things like that? What color will be? The options will be available for the exterior. Then again, as I said, for the trim, the chrome and black plated. So same goes for the interior. The upholstery, which is going to be there, be it Napa leather, be it stitched leather, be it some woven leather. And then again for the trims, will it be let's say your door handle, will it be chrome? Will it be bamboo? Will it be wood? Now again, these things matter depending again on the brands because they charge so much. Like example, if you're going to buy something from Maruti Suzuki, so that particular is a affordable option. But on the other hand, maybe you buy a Maruti Suzuki, but you hope one day you will buy a Mercedes. Why? Because it feels more premium. The things that are there inside are more premium. So like that. So it's a job of a color and trim designer to give us a output of how things will be, what colors will be there, what materials will be there, and so on and so forth. So now moving to modelers, we have physical modelers who work with clay. So there are again different things which are there in physical model too. So you can work with wood, you can work with clay, plaster of Paris, and for digital we again have, because industry again is still evolving. So automotive industry has taken so much from the animation industry. So people are using Autodesk Maya too. Uh, the Blender, which is again a free version and a cheaper version. So and so for at the end, for the production ready model, we have two softwares, which is Autodesk Alias and iSimServe. So again, both have their own style of working, but at the end, if the approach is correct, you get the same result. So at the now coming to the end, we have design visualizers. So for design visualizers, again, just like researcher, depends on the size of organization, but visualizer's job is to actually give you the best quality renders, or let's say the best quality images, which will be how your car or how your product will look like in a real life. So they work with all the designers, interior, exterior, and color and trim, mostly to actually provide. Because let's say you have done something in a software and you want to show it, it's a wood, right? So it's a job of a visualizer to put down materials, to put down certain contrast, brightness, play with them, uh, the thin lines which are there to make it look like a wood. So that's a job of a visualizer to present exactly what material is there and how it will look like in a real life. So that's the job of a visualizer. So now this is from where you will start. So again, like I would say, it will be uh, a huge hit, or if it's in your destiny, or no, not destiny, but yeah, once you enter the industry, it's on the opportunity basis. Maybe you get a chance in a OEM, but if not, no, don't be disappointed, because we have a lot of design studios and a lot of service providers who are working for these companies, these OEMs. So these will be the opportunities that will be there. So now, coming to senior level, as I've said, to manage that particular design team, we need design managers. So again, managers, he's going to manage, as I've already explained, prior to this. So their job is to take care of the design team. If let's say the project is not going in a dedicated direction, they give you the direction. Then again, we have design review meetings where these managers and people from outside, the clients mostly, come to, and they execute the entire direction. They give you checkpoints. They give you a certain points where you have to lead down, and then again it is job of you, the functional level, the basic level, to work on it. So now moving on again to top level, so which is again head of design. So it is not like you will never reach this stage, but the thing is, like, if you enter into an OEM, obviously, no, the thing is clear. You can stay there because it's an OEM. You can switch to OEM, but after a certain experience. But yes, to reach, or let's say to become a member of design management team or a head of design, you actually have to spend a lot of years in that particular company. So again, head of design, what is responsible for, again, developing and managing. So design managers reports to them, and then again they have the direct contact to the company, again, top management over them and with the clients. So these are the one who actually uh, take all the things, like both online and offline. They take the output, and again it's on their shoulder to again the success of the design department, and then also the design which is being created. So these are the job level structures. But yes, in OEM, if you enter into a company, uh, it's more advisable, because once it's an OEM, you can stay there for a longer period of time, and then when there is no growth and things like that, maybe you get a better opportunity for your growth, and then you switch. But for design studios and service providers, you also do work for these companies, maybe on site or maybe in house in your design studio. But at the end, you get a lot of projects. So both has their perks. For service provider, you will be working on a lot of projects in a smaller time. I too started with a service provider, and then after that I went on to many things. So right, so like I currently work, I take contracts, I do freelance, I work for companies, I have my own projects, I do education, so things like that. So it all comes up how you diversify your portfolio. So if someone asks me about something, I can let them know. So things like that. So once you start with service provider, you have a lot of options. In an OEM, you have a lot of opportunities, but you do a single project in a longer period of time. So that's there. Now moving on to our current trends. So now again, what current trends are? Okay, so trends is something, a particular direction, uh, like in which everybody is moving. So currently, as we're talking about automotive, so how, what are the current trends? So obviously, we know the internal combustion engine and the electric example that I've already gave you. So everybody is going in that particular direction. So what they are trying to do, they want to have a diverse mobility. Everybody is trying an autonomous driving now, electrification, which have we already covered, and connectivity. So even there are articles where some very big OEMs are coming up to form a platform, a single platform, where they can know there's no need. Okay, if you have a Maruti or if you have a Mercedes, you can go to a single place, and you can take care of things like, be it a service, be it your battery pack, or things like that. So they are, if OEMs are creating a platform like that, so that connectivity is required. Obviously, you're spending too much for a Merc compared to a Maruti, but at the end, if we have that platform, we have to know. look or think on a bigger scale. So it's like that. So now again, automotive industry is shifting its focus towards platform-based services because as we are going more electrifying and we have electrification happening. So regardless of having different chassis, we can have a single, or the underbody, and then on top of it, depending on the brand or what are you paying for, you get. So the underbody stays the same, and if you pay for a Maruti, you get a Maruti chassis, the overall structure with all the things there. If you pay for a Merc, or maybe if a Rolls Royce is there, so if you pay for Rolls Royce, you'll get that kind of thing. So that's how the current trends are moving. So now, as we've seen, now we come to a classes of from ESUP. So we move on again to this. Why an SUV? So again, we are forcing because the entire motivation because behind this course is the increasing trend in electric vehicles. So E actually stands for electric vehicles. Now, many OEMs have already started building electric cars. Now, again, if you have seen, maybe you can check it out after the presentation. If you have not, gone through or seen the cars, which is there. So new players like Sony have already have a coupe which is electric and they have already debuted it. Apple making it because it's still in the news. They have not revealed anything, but yes, they are obviously making it. They have chosen, I guess, Kia. So they are working with Kia, and Kia will be manufacturing on the same for the Apple. And other players too have started building there as well. So if you know the name as well, Fisker, so again, he is a very major player in electric market. He started the evaluation of the electric trend and started long back. So again, now it's an evolution and it is expected to grow further, bringing in new innovations. Like just like the example I have already given you for the grill. So if something is moving, it can be anything technological, technical, and anything. So again, how evolve from it. So same thing goes for that. So now, what are the leading softwares and hardware solutions like the providers are giving? So initially, not I would say long back, but still people used to even when you used to study, and still I offer the same knowledge that is there. So initially, it was just pen and paper. Everywhere everybody used to know until there were no softwares to actually do it. Everybody used to just draw it on the paper, then make it a digital of it because it takes a longer time comparing when you sketch it on paper, then you go on and you digitize it. It takes a lot of time. So now everybody has started directly digitize it, maybe skip a few steps because for a student or someone who doesn't have the knowledge, yes, all the steps are needed. But once you are master of something, right in the back of your head, you know what's happening, what or how I want that particular thing, and based on that, we started. So now major softwares which are influencing the market today include Autodesk Sketchbook, again a digital platform to sketch it or to sketch on directly. So Adobe Photoshop, again the same thing but more advanced. It is a paid option with some photo editing tools. So a visualizer can take the renders that are there, and then after that he can just directly go into Photoshop, do some edits, and let's say if you search for automotive photography, so the angles which are there, which are so wide looking, it can be from that render and edited in Photoshop. So that way. So Sketchbook, again, same. You have all the things that you need, but without the photo editing techniques. Photoshop, you have that. Again, as I've mentioned, we have Maya, we have Blender. So again, coming from the auto or the animation background, people have started using it, and yeah, like that. You can create or sculpt a shape, and then after that, when we move on to surfacing, we have Autodesk Alias and Isom Surf. Same thing, different approach, same result. So that is that. Now we go to the course insight. Now what are is there now? As I've already mentioned, now we have seen the more the field which is automotive design. So again, with the designers who are there. So what do you call your automobile designers? So again, no, your primary concern or you are actually more concerned on how to create or how to design a particular product. Like I'll not say car in particular or motorcycle, something like that, but yes, a product, because again, car has so many separate parts. They are products. When again you combine them together, and still it's a product. So like that. So if you can see in the next point too, uh, you can create a number of things what we have already discussed, be it a motorbike, a yacht, a mobility system too. So it depends, what type of project you are doing or what your vision is. So what does an automobile designer do? So they actually take care the aspect of style, technique, aerodynamics, production feasibility, and ergonomics. Because uh, the designer, like as we have seen, like a certain hierarchy is there. Why? Because the design is what makes the particular product sell, right? Maybe that particular product has so much horsepower, it's so fast on road, but still nobody goes on or buy a particular car for that particular engine. They go in, they have a look at the exterior, and then sit into the interior, and they say, "Yeah, it's awesome." So basically, that's the job of an automobile designer, and that's what they do. So they take care of those things, and designers are already on top of the line of the hierarchy. Even with the design engineers, when they have that particular style data, so they're not allowed to change it. Why? Because the designers have fixed it. That is what going to make that design sell. So it's like that. Now, again, now what does an automobile designer require? So, as I've already mentioned that too, so the designer should have a deep knowledge on the product and the requirement that the customer looks for. So if a customer likes, let's say for an example, again, if he likes iPhone, so we want to create something, like the iPhone. So our thing should be close to an iPhone, but again, we should have a deeper knowledge of it. What things are there? Why does he, like that particular product, and what we can more offer something better? So again, to actually have a better picture of the relation between design and marketing, innovation, modern trends, commercial requirement, and most importantly, the economic scenario where he or she is working. So depending on that, we take care of all the insights from the industry, because everything affects something. Where there is demand, there is a trend. If there is a trend, there is a demand, and things like that go on. So now, like to start now, where it actually starts now. First step again is the idea. Now we do a drawing, we do a render, then again we come to a package on which a designer will start his drawing, sketching, and then after that, as we have already discussed, we go to the physical model, then the 3D model. Then after that, if like the design is chosen, then again it's a job of a color and trim designer to choose all the materials, and then after that, what elements are going to be there, the testing and refinement. So it's an overall process of what happens into the industry. So after that, no, once everything is given, everything is done, no model is given as an approval. So once everything is done, everything is finalized, then and then only there is one more step. Maybe they go for a market survey, they present it at some expo, or if not, because if there's no expo nearby, maybe not in India, maybe not in abroad, then they actually directly go, they make advertisement, and after that they just directly go into the production. So after this, now I'll take you, like whatever I have explained verbally, I'll take you through what actually happens in the industry, not too much into detail, but yes, to give you some idea about it. So you'll get what things will be there, and yeah. So basically, what softwares are going to be there, what are we going to cover, and how the process actually starts. So just let me know if my screen is available. I'm just switching to my tablet. So is my screen visible right now?
Yes, mine. But
Yeah,
we are able to see the video demonstration parts, right?
just switching.
Yeah. So I guess can you try?
Yes, I'm just sharing the other one too. So is this visible, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So as I've said, now again we are into Sketchbook. So as I've already mentioned, right, there are few several tools which are there. Now, once you go too much into detail, yes, you can work it out. And again, this will be a part of our course too. So as I've mentioned, everything is getting digitized, right? So over here we have a possibility, to sketch and do our stuff. So directly we can take this data, you know, directly to the render or to the model. So we don't actually have to do anything on paper, and then we do a scan, and then again we come back to some software, we do a render. So after the render is done, so we go to maybe modeling. So be it physical, be it no the 3D. So things like that are there. So we don't actually need to go there, but we just skipping a step. And again, for you, like whomsoever wants to try, whether you are interested or not, if you want to do sketching, just try it out, on a piece of paper first. So now, without further ado, I'll be moving on to actually show you. So firstly, as I've said, we have idea, right? So an idea can be anything. No, for idea, maybe we need to learn what proportions are there for cars, know how it is made and things like that. So let's say for a simple one, which we see and still children draw. So in the art class or things like that, we used to draw a car like this, right? So this is again, yeah. The actual car is no further. You just let's say around some corners, give it some flow and things like that, and you actually end up with a car. So basically, the process is the same. So you do an ideation, then you go on know with what design type of things will be there and something like that. So after that, you actually need to go to the proportion, what things are there. So that will be involved too. That again takes you, or let's say gives you an entire knowledge of how a certain car is different than the other. So let's say if this is a hatchback, I increase this is a sedan. If I increase this all, it becomes an SUV. So yeah, so like that. If I want, I just remove this, I extend this too, just like this. It becomes a limousine. So how these things happen and all will be taken care of. It comes under proportions. So basically, to start with, I'll be just making a simple sketch. uh, so I'm directly building it on a tablet. So I have a screen tablet and I'm building it directly onto it. There are again other options too. You have a tablet which is connected to your PC again, but you directly don't draw on it. So you have to see on what you are drawing or where your actual cursor is. But mine is a screen one, so I'm directly on top of doing it top of it. So just like that. So the basic distance, or let's say the proportion, is 3 wheels. So depending on all, the entire thing changes. So like that, you create same level structure, things like this. So if I want to take, let's say I make a design, I don't invest too much time directly into it because we want to move on. So like that, it will be the wheelbase again depending on yours. So I'll be really quick on it. So let's say we have this for an SUV, and then again, no, we have this one. So now what we actually want to create is to give our overall style, because again, this is the sketching process. Now this is what, or let's say how it happens. So like that. No, as I've said, we give them a certain flow like this, and I'm being light where I need to. So just like I'll be basic, don't need to go too much into detail, right? So we have our wheel arc like that. It can be anything. It can be anything, right? So basic detail first. So like that, again, if you need something, see, I'm not going too much into detail. I'm just going all rough and rough because I just want to, demonstrate the process. We don't want to be too verbal. So what exactly happens? So again, we are finalizing everything in just one go, but we don't know need to. But for this one, yeah, it's fine. So something like that, your car is done, right? So will not be this fast, or let's say will be better in the design too, the volume too. But for now, it's okay. Now we change it and bring our layer over here like that. So now again, as I said, no, we go into, so we completed our sketch, right? Paper, it's lagging. Paper or digitized, right? So this is the digitized one. Now our next is to do the render, right? So on top of it, as we have taken this layer, so let's just go into the render phase. So for render, you can take a brush and then again, you can start doing it. So again, I don't want to go too much into detail, but yes, over here you have your color options, what color you want to take. And this is again for your brush size. So I just want to go, let's say like this, right? At the end, so the effects of a different software, is different. Why? Because, right, past 200 and we reset it. So the effect of it is different. In Sketchbook, you actually go on, no, you have to delete the outers in Photoshop that is used. You create an entire volume, but the procedure of doing it is same, right? Just like this. And then after that, we'll not do too much of an area, but still to show you, I want to, okay, leave the rear part as it is. So now over here in rendering, we actually have two things to take care of. Like for firstly being the lights. What part will be dark? What part will be the lighter one. So depending on that, you have all the options. Let's say because the light doesn't fall too much over here, we have this as a darker area and things like that. So go into opacity. So over here, you can control the layers and everything doesn't need to be on the same layer itself and things like that. So this, let's say this will be the darker, and then on top of it we have this as a bit lighter because we don't have the opacity open, so we can't do much into it, but just for a basic one. So with this, okay, we increase the opacity. I'm being rough, not too much detail, so don't think we do it like this in the final one, but about the process, exactly same, right, like that. So same goes for my windshield and side glass. I can also change the opacity to check whether I'm going out or not, and then after that I can delete it or remove it like this. So this is how you do it. Then again, if you'll go too much and too much into the detail, so basically let's move on and do fewer detail over here. So again, I can say for a digital sketching, yes, you can obviously do it. A render too. But as the industry, the thing permeates and everybody is using Photoshop for that particular, the editing reason. So you can, obviously start and find out what things are there, what new is coming. And if you're interested to, yes, everything will be there, but still, it's up to you. So let's just go over here. Let's say remove the opacity, and this part will be lighter. This part will be lighter. Move this, shorten the size like that. So you have line which is like this too. This is the horizon line, which actually stays there on every single car. And then after this, I just want to add a single detail, which is a darker color of this one, because that is what stays there. Something like this maybe. So you see the gradient that is happening, right? Like this, you complete. So just like that, again, not too much detail, fast. So you see over here, right, the gradient that is happening. So that what actually gives the car the volume. So yeah, this is how a render. Yes, not a very detailed one, but yes. So basically, you get the shape or you get the idea of how the things will be. So for this one, if you want too much of detail, we don't do it like this. Increase the opacity, and with this, you can add up details too. So things like that, right? So this is how we do a render. Now after this, again the steps comes, which is modeling. So the process, yes, this particular thing all involved into the course as well. So after this, as we have seen, which comes Maya. So in Maya, what happens is you have a certain, say you have a certain, uh, no, the simple shape. Can it be circle? Can it be cube? Then after that, you take on the points, the CVs that are there, and you take one and you move it, and your shape will start transforming. So things like that are there. Then by using these only methods, that particular shape turns out into a model. So current trend is like that. So how the innovation software is coming in and playing their particular role. So over here, as we complete it, now again, I'll be taking a screenshot of this. So don't worry, I'll be sharing the screen again, and I'll be saving it on my desktop. Okay. So I guess so far we understood this, and then now I'll share my another screen. So over here, my screen visible again, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now moving on, as we have seen how the sketch is done, how the thing is rendered. Our next step, I would say, like again, we are once the scan or anything is complete. Again, it's a process which actually takes too much time. So skipping the volume building, and as such, I'll show you another method which actually happens in the industry. So right now we are into Autodesk now alias, and then again, uh, check. I have my sketch, okay, over here. So let's say if I want to import it, I can just directly go in like that, and from my desktop, I can get the image of the directly the render that we have just done. So again, depending on the size, which is again job of a job researcher, so he'll give us some certain size, and then after that we start building onto it. So basically this is how you get the data in. And just for a simple presentation, I would say I'll show you a small sample of this. Let's just do it in the center like that. So again, I'll be a bit fast on it too. So basically here are curves which are required to create this. Okay, because right now we are not going with any technical dimension. So just like that, uh, let's say we have our wheel. Now for our wheel arc, just like that, we have our wheel arc and everything is at the center. So firstly, once the dimension is given, we move it outwards. And with the basic tools, you can actually go on and you can create surfaces. Okay, so we'll reopen it again. The it is crashed. So once my so basically the idea is the same. What actually happens is you create it, you bring your design into it, and then after that you start creating your surfaces, right? So basically how you create it. So you go on and you create the overall volume. Again, I'm not showing you the exact method, but that's what how the thing is done, like this. And again, this is on the center. We take this, we bring it a bit out depending on our technical dimensions. And with the tools, we create surfaces onto it. I guess this is basic, yes. So like that, you create surfaces, right? So as you can see, so some surface volume is built. The same goes for the side view as well. If I want you to just show the volume, I can just take a shortcut because right now I'm not sticking, let's say onto the same thing which is there, but that way I can just go on and just quickly show you, like you, so you get the idea of how the things is done like that. So over here you have this, so you can see half of the volume. Then if we want to showcase the entire volume, I just go directly in and yeah, like that. So it is too wide. We can like this. So again, yeah, this looks like a perfect size. So this is how, like again, this is too much basic, but yeah, with these curves and with the surface creation tool, you create a surface, and once everything is done, it is the design visualizer's job, or let's say the class A modeler, who will be taking your basic surfaces, create them into beautiful, cars which are production ready. And then after that, once everything is done, I'll just quickly share with you, and I'll change my screen, so don't panic that my screen is not visible. So I'll just show you the final data, which actually happens, and of how the things are created. So I'll just show you a few examples. So I'm importing my files. So over here, as you can see, I have one model, like not the completed one, but yes, this is like the automotive seat, which is there. So we do a symmetry of it. So just like this, you create a seat, right? With using the same. So the output can be anything over here. Like given things can be an image, a render, like the image pane, as you can see over here, it can be a render or it can be a scan. So for the second one, I'll just show you one more quick thing. So we do it like this, and okay, over here we have this area as a mesh, as you can see. So this is a mesh, and then on top of it, we create these surfaces. So what I was trying to tell you, so this is what you will receive something from the Maya, the designer, and then after that you create these surfaces. So whatever is visible, this is what is created on top of my surface. So I can just directly go in, check the quality of my model, and then I can make the surfaces. So this is how you start building. This is what you receive, and this is how the entire process in the automotive industry happens. So this is all for the video demonstration. Now we go back to the presentation. So now what will be covered in the course? So whatever you have seen, obviously that will be covered too. And then again, some basic knowledge will be given to you because you have to have the entire knowledge about how things starts from where till the end. So the learning is up to date. And this actually covers every aspect that we have already seen and details that are required. So this not only takes you directly into the process, but actually show you from the idea too. Right now, we currently skip the ideation process, and we whatever was coming into my mind, and I directly drew it. But again, something must be happening right in my brain. So what was the idea behind it? Why I actually created the shape I created? So once you'll get to know that and how again how it reaches to the end. So again, it definitely adds up to your achievement and helps boosting your creative side, because once you start sketching, it is also everybody has some ideas, but people what they lack is the the let's say a tool or a functionality to actually showcase it in front of the world. So whatever things are there, you will learn, and rest obviously will come at the right time. So now at the end, you'll be ready to be a part of this electrifying journey. So once you know all this, it's obviously easier because you have the data. And again, as the industry is evolving towards electrification, you have a lot of scope in it. So if you have an engineering background, it's a plus point. If you know some things about electric things, yes, obviously it's an add up. Then if you know, because currently what people want is someone who has a knowledge of let's say the both of the worlds, or let's say both of the sides. So if a designer is doing a modeling like me, what happens with me is if a designer, like right now currently I'm on a project where I'm doing something, I'm making a car. So for me to actually get the correct intent of what designer is talking about, it's easier compared to one who doesn't know design at all. So for him, it's a big of process and too much back and forth. But for me, it's easier. So if you have something, yes, obviously, as I've said, it adds up to your achievement and it helps you to boost that particular side. So that all will be there. So now again, now coming to technical content. So this course will provide all the knowledge and expertise required to learn automotive design. So it is actually provides you a very helpful knowledge, skill, and reference material for the broader field. So if you don't want, or let's say we focus too much on a one particular thing, but you have the idea. So just like the previous example, you can go or design from a single needle to an aeroplane. So it's up to you. So the course is subdivided into categories so that we can cover all the aspects. So which are the industrial phases. The product program duration will be 3 months. So it's a long one and a shorter one. No, if we put too much dedication into it, then we have that knowledge. Again, the program will have the most flexible learning environment possible, because as the phases change, so you will be no there will be no such drastic change, just like the one we saw in the video demonstration. So everything will be changing like that, and you will have a step by step guide kind of thing. So now coming to job opportunities, as we have already covered, right? The top level, the senior level, and the entry level, where you will be working. So this is nothing different. And as I've already mentioned, we are at a verge of an evolution where everything is going electric. So when there is no need of a particular, let's say, department, it stops and new things come up. So there are needs for the electric people who can do some things again against the transmission with the motor. So that comes to the engineering side for design too. So what can you add up? Because once you start in the industry, obviously your experience goes up, but your creativity comes down. So whomsoever is the younger, that's why people tend to take chances on young talent. Why? Because they are fresh. maybe they don't have a lot of experience in that particular field, but their ideas, just like a baby, like people say, right? Baby no can't tell lie. So just like that, your designs are pure, your intentions are pure. So just like that, you that on that particular thing, you have a lot of job opportunities. So coming to, you can be a designer who do exterior design, interior design. Again, depending on organization size, maybe you have opportunity. Like smaller size, you do interior and exterior on your own. I have done it. Uh, if you're an OEM, you will be working with a particular department, be it exterior, be it interior, and you have that opportunity. So with modeler, again, you have opportunity of two. You can be a physical modeler, but again, we don't have too much content, of it. But for digitalization, because that's what the new phase is. You skip some steps, you save time, and you create what it actually required. So for that, you have many options, be it Maya, be it Alias, things like that. Now, again, design visualizer, you can obviously will have something, and the visualization opportunities are quite high these days. With the Salt, every day they're coming with something, because visualizer's job doesn't actually stick to only automotive. You can go for architecture, you can go for anything, all the images that you see in the construction line, I would say, the eagle eye view from the top and things like that. So that's again is a visualizer's job of how they want to visualize the design, how they want to showcase it, and from which angle, with what different colors. Again, demand is very high for such professions, and with electric evolution on the edge, the demand is going to increase more.